say when you die, you leave everything behind for those that you love. But do you really want to do that? Do you want to leave your debt behind for those that you love? You really don't. It could place an unnecessary burden on your loved ones at a very traumatic time. But there's insurance that covers your debt. Do you know that you've got insurance that covers your debt? Finance guru Maya Fisher-French, let's head over to her now. And Maya, this all comes around a viewer contacting you recently, discovering that he and his wife, if I remember correctly, had a balance protection plan on their mortgage. It's something so simple, but people don't look out for it. Tell us more about it. Morning.
Morning. You know, this is one of those kind of feel-good stories. I mean, because he contacted me and he'd gone to his bank just for a routine query or something, and the bank consultant had said to him, do you know that you have this balance protection plan on your mortgage, which and it's a joint mortgage, and the balance protection plan was for both him and his wife. And his wife had passed away about nearly 4 years ago, and he didn't know that he had this insurance in place. Of course, he contacted me because he was worried now, would they pay out? Because there was a time limit, you know, had he exceeded the time limit? In his case, he was fortunate because he had continued to pay that premium. And I think the insurer in this case couldn't really argue if they'd been receiving the premium. And they went and settled the mortgage. But the point is that he could have settled the mortgage 3-4 years ago when his wife had actually passed away, and he just didn't know he had that insurance in place, and he's been paying for it. And I must tell you, Gareth, I come across this so often. People just don't know about these insurances that are often linked to their debt. It could be their mortgage, it could be their car finance. We see it quite commonly in things like credit cards, personal loans. It's something, often we call that credit life in that specific case. Really important to know that you have. I mean, imagine his life. I mean, it was a little bit, you know, obviously it was great he discovered it now, but 4 years ago, he's been paying all of those installments.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. And I think the problem maybe is, Maya, and we can maybe talk about it another day, maybe you can pick up on it here, is it's all these fancy names that all the different providers, these credit providers are calling it. I mean, it's a credit life, a credit assurance, home protection. You can't keep up with the different names. And I'll be honest, it can get a bit daunting. You don't actually know what you're paying for in the end, and we don't even know if we have these insurances. So for someone maybe like me who doesn't even realize I have it, what do I need to ask? What's the questions I need to be asking, especially around the time limit on claiming as well?
I think the most important thing to do is go and look at your statements. You know, if they're getting emailed to you, whatever, and go and look at what is coming off that. You know, what are you paying for? You'll see something saying service fees. You may see credit facility fee. You'll see all these words. Find out what each of them means. And one of them is going to be possibly is, you know, protection plan, balance protection. Like you said, I think I should probably come up with about 30 different terms that the companies use. But something's going off. Something's coming off either your bank account or it's added onto that statement that, you know, that you're paying every month, that installment you're paying every month. So go check it. In fact, I would say do one thing before the end of the month. It's spring month, isn't it? So go check all of your statements. Find out what you have. Take a big highlighter, highlight it, and also make sure your family are aware that you have that. Because obviously, in this case, you know, if somebody passes away, how do your family even know that you possibly had this insurance in place? I must say that some of the banks are more proactive than others. They will actually check with Home Affairs once a month against death certificates with their ID numbers and things like that. But you know, so sometimes it is picked up, but you as the family do need to check that as well. And there can be limits on it. So in this particular case, I think that there was a 3-year limit on it, except that he had continued to pay the premiums. So, you know, if somebody passes away and the premium hasn't been paid for several years, it may impact it. But on traditional life insurance, generally what happens, it gets put into an unclaimed benefit fund. So your beneficiaries could still find it. So it does depend a little bit on the actual insurance product and how it's structured. But really important to find out, these credit life can also cover you for retrenchment, which we covered a lot, Gareth, you'll remember during COVID. And there's definitely, I think it's about, it's only a 6-month, I think you've got a maximum of 6 months to make that claim.
What I find bizarre, I'm not being rude, I'm sitting on my cell phone at the moment, and I thought, well, actually, I wonder if I can go onto my banking app and go and take a look. I mean, you would imagine it would just live on your cell phone. You can go in there and go to your profile or insurance or whatever and actually just see, yes, you're covered for my mortgage. If I die, my wife will get the payout. But I mean, it's just not that simple. It should be that simple. Maybe I don't understand the process, but it should be this simple. But apparently it's not. So good advice from Maya Fisher-French. Grab a highlighter, spring clean your bank statements. Maybe there's a whole show, spring cleaning your bank statements in the month of September. Maya, always good, appreciate it. Good advice. And don't just nod like I do and go on with your day. Actually go to the bank, print out your bank statements and actually sit down with someone that can explain what all those little fees mean. You might have insurance you're not even aware of. We're heading up to